Imagine getting handed $1 million a year. Not for winning the lottery, not for playing ball, but for keeping a giant light bulb burning. Sounds like a dream job, right? Well, not so fast. Turns out this dream job comes with a catch. You're stuck out in the middle of nowhere, all by your lonesome, with nothing but the seagulls and the waves for company. No bars, no internet, no Uber Eats. It's the kind of gig that makes you wonder, would I rather be rich and bored out of my skull, or broke and surrounded by friends? That, my friends, is the life of a modern-day lighthouse keeper. Now you might be thinking, lighthouses, those things are older than dirt. Who needs them anymore with GPS and all? And you wouldn't be entirely wrong. Technology has definitely changed the game, but for centuries lighthouses were the difference between a safe arrival and a watery grave. We're talking way back, folks, to the ancient Egyptians and their mega lighthouse at Alexandria. This thing was a marvel of the ancient world, a towering beacon visible for miles, guiding ships through the treacherous Mediterranean. We're talking fire and bronze mirrors, people, long before electricity made things easy.
Over the centuries, lighthouses evolved, from simple bonfires to towering stone structures with powerful lamps visible for miles. These weren't just buildings. They were symbols of hope, of safety, of human ingenuity against the unforgiving power of the sea. And the folks who manned them, the keepers, they were a different breed. Tough, resourceful, and maybe a little bit crazy to live life on the edge like that.
So what does a lighthouse keeper actually do all day? You might picture a grizzled old fella, pipe in mouth, just watching the waves roll in. But the reality is a lot more hands-on. They keep the light fueled and clean the lenses. They monitor weather and radio reports, ready for anything from repairs to rescues, all while living in near total isolation. Okay, let's talk money. $1 million a year to keep a light on sounds too good to be true, right? Well, there's a reason these jobs come with such a hefty paycheck. It's not just about screwing in a light bulb, my friends. It's about location, location, location. We're talking about lighthouses that are miles offshore, perched on desolate rocks or clinging to windswept cliffs. Places so remote, so unforgiving that most folks wouldn't last a week, let alone a year.
And then there's the isolation. We're talking weeks, sometimes months, with no human contact except for the occasional supply drop. No internet, no phone calls, just you, the elements, and maybe a few seagulls for company. It takes a special kind of person to handle that kind of solitude, and frankly, they're not easy to find. But the real kicker? The responsibility. These keepers, they're not just looking after a building, they're holding the lives of countless sailors in their hands. One mistake, one missed signal, and a ship could run aground, costing lives and cargo. That kind of pressure, that weight on your shoulders, it deserves a hefty paycheck.
Now, don't get me wrong, there's a certain romance to the idea of being a lighthouse keeper. The solitude, the sea air, the chance to escape the hustle and bustle of everyday life.
But let's not sugarcoat it, folks. This job is not for the faint of heart. Imagine howling winds rattling the windows, waves crashing against the rocks, and you, alone in the tower, the only thing standing between the darkness and the ships at sea.
It's a constant battle against the elements, against the isolation, against the sheer monotony of it all. You're on call 24/7, 365 days a year. No sick days, no vacations, no calling in late because you hit the snooze button one too many times.
And then there's the physical labor. Maintaining a lighthouse is no walk in the park. We're talking hauling fuel, repairing weather damage, scrubbing salt off everything in sight. It's a physically demanding job, one that requires strength, stamina, and a whole lot of grit.
Now, the physical challenges of being a lighthouse keeper are one thing, but the mental toll, that's a whole other beast.
Imagine this. Days, weeks, months, stretching out before you with only the sound of the wind and the waves for company. The silence can be deafening, the solitude overwhelming. It's no wonder that isolation is one of the biggest hurdles for lighthouse keepers.
The human mind craves connection, interaction, stimulation. Deprive it of those things and it can start to play tricks on you. We're talking mood swings, anxiety, depression, even hallucinations.
And then there's the pressure, the constant weight of responsibility. Knowing that lives depend on your vigilance, that one slip-up could have disastrous consequences. That kind of pressure can wear you down, chip away at your resolve.
It takes a special kind of person to handle the mental rigors of lighthouse life. Someone with unwavering mental fortitude, a deep sense of purpose, and maybe a touch of healthy eccentricity. So, who are these people, these modern-day lighthouse keepers? Well, they're a diverse bunch, that's for sure.
Some are adventurers, drawn to the solitude and the challenge, seeking refuge from the noise and chaos of the world. They're the kind of folks who find solace in the crashing waves, who see beauty in the starkness of a rocky coastline.
Then there are the nature lovers, the ones who crave the company of seabirds and seals more than they do other humans. They're fascinated by the rhythms of the tides, the ever-changing moods of the sea.
And of course, let's not forget the financially motivated. $1 million a year is a powerful motivator, even for the most daunting of jobs. These are the folks who see it as an opportunity to get ahead, to secure their future, even if it means sacrificing some creature comforts.
But regardless of their motivations, all lighthouse keepers share certain qualities: resilience, resourcefulness, and an unshakable sense of duty. They're the quiet guardians of the coast, the unsung heroes who keep the lights burning no matter the storm. Now you might be thinking, Mike, this is all very interesting, but I'm never going to be a lighthouse keeper. What's this got to do with me? Well, I'll tell you. See, the life of a lighthouse keeper, it teaches us a thing or two about ourselves, about the world, about what it means to be human. First and foremost, it teaches us the value of solitude. In a world that's constantly bombarding us with noise, information, and demands, the ability to be alone with our thoughts is more valuable than ever. It's in those quiet moments, those moments of reflection, that we truly discover who we are. Second, it teaches us resilience. Lighthouse keepers, they face challenges head-on. They adapt to whatever the elements throw at them. They don't back down from hardship. They embrace it. They overcome it. And finally, it teaches us the importance of responsibility. Lighthouse keepers understand the weight of their duty, the lives that depend on their vigilance. They don't take their job lightly. They approach it with dedication, with purpose, with a deep sense of service. These are lessons we can all apply to our own lives, no matter what our chosen path may be. So we've talked about the history, the responsibilities, the challenges, the rewards. Now comes the million-dollar question. Is the life of a lighthouse keeper for you? Well, if you're the kind of person who thrives on social interaction, who needs constant stimulation, who panics at the thought of being alone for more than 5 minutes, then no. This job will probably drive you bonkers, but if you're drawn to solitude, if you find peace in the rhythm of the waves, if you possess an unwavering sense of responsibility and maybe a touch of that pioneer spirit, well then maybe, just maybe, you've got what it takes. Remember, it's not about the money, folks, it's about finding your calling, even if it means embracing a life that's a little rough around the edges, a little unconventional, a little bit lonely. The life of a lighthouse keeper isn't for everyone, but for the right person, it can be a life of quiet heroism, of profound connection with nature, and of self-discovery. So there you have it, folks, the million-dollar job that most people wouldn't touch with a 10-foot pole. It's a strange paradox, isn't it? We chase wealth and success, but are we willing to sacrifice human connection for it? The life of a lighthouse keeper throws that question into sharp relief. It's a stark reminder that sometimes the most rewarding pursuits are the ones that take us furthest from the beaten path. For the right person, the one with the grit, the determination, and maybe a touch of the lone wolf in their heart, that million-dollar paycheck might just be worth the solitude. Would you take the job? It's a question only you can answer. But one thing's for sure, The role of the lighthouse keeper, standing watch over the waves, a beacon of hope in the darkness, continues to shine a light on the resilience and determination of the human spirit.